Good morning all of you. In last video we discussed about the methods, different methods for comparison of the projects by we solve numericals by comparison of the different methods, present worth, future worth and annual worth for comparison of these projects. Now with this comparison we now shift towards the next method, rate of return methods. Now we compare these projects by using the present worth, future worth and annual worth method. And which particular project have a larger value for this present worth, annual worth or future worth, we consider that project is the economical one. Now by using rate of return methods also we can evaluate these projects or compare these projects by using this rate of return method. So when for internal rate of return or external rate of return, when interest rate for that particular internal rate of return method or for external rate of return method, when it is larger than this MRR value, then you can consider that particular project is a economical or desirable one. When that particular rate of return methods we can apply for the comparison of this particular alternatives or particular projects. Similarly, we can use this internal rate of return method, external rate of return method by consideration of the incremental value. We consider incremental value for internal rate of return method or incremental rate of value for the external rate of return method. So this incremental is nothing but you calculate this particular value, this particular interest rate value for the increment or some difference in between these two projects. In these two projects. Suppose y minus x. So there are two projects x and y. So we consider this interest rate or calculate interest rate by consideration of the term y minus x. So with this difference or with this incremental value, what is if that interest rate I is greater than suppose this interest rate is greater than MRR value, then y should be desirable. That internal rate of return is greater than the MRR value, then y should be desirable. Similarly, for external rate of return, if the difference is a larger one, if that interest rate is larger than the MRR value, then in that case y is a desirable one. So we will go through some numericals, then we will get clear about this incremental rate of return. Here four machines are given. These four machines are nothing but the four projects. Here these four machines are nothing but the four projects for the comparison purpose. So every time it is not consider the very large plant or very large company for the comparison one. So many times a small machine is considered as a project. Or in another order you can say that whether that investment in which element, maybe it machine or maybe asset, that particular investment we should judge by using these methods. So here that project is considered as a machine A, B, C, D and that we should evaluate these particular machines by using these different methods. Now for mutually exclusive machines that are considered as A, B, C, D, the lifespan of that particular machine is 50 years. So the same lifespan is given here, 50 years. and that company MRR value is a 15%. Company MRR value is 15% per year. Annual income from that machine has been estimated by a committee and is shown in the table here. And use IRR method, incremental method, to select the best machine. So initial investment is given and annual income is given in this particular table. So data is given for that particular machines. With the investment and with the income. So here this incremental analysis. For incremental analysis, differential present worth of cash inflow and outflow of the two alternatives are equate them to each other and find the delta IRR value. So differential present worth value of cash inflow. So to calculate this internal rate of return method, we calculate the internal rate of return method. We must use this present worth, annual worth or future worth method. So to calculate this internal rate of return method rate value, we use here in this numerical present worth method. Now we calculate this present worth value, incremental present worth value for these projects. So we first calculate incremental value for the B and A projects. So present worth, again there we use that same formula for the present worth. Now interest rate is not known to us. In internal rate of return method problem, that interest rate is not known to us. We put that interest rate I as it is and we write formula first. Now present worth formula for the internal rate of return consideration with incremental case. Now here it is a investment. This particular first element is a investment. Second element is a revenue. Salvage factor is not given. So third element is not considered here. Salvage value or market value that we discussed in last video. Salvage value or market value is the third element. Third element is absent here. And these are the incremental one. B minus A. So this investment is an incremental investment. B minus A. So B minus A. B is a 2600 minus this 3200. 2600 minus 3200. Minus N is a for investment one. 2600 minus 3200 plus now this revenue. B minus 450 minus 500. 450 minus 500. This revenue term. Incremental revenue term. This factor P by I percent 50. Now we write this formula. Salvage element is not present here. We write this formula, and now I is not known to us. This I factor or interest rate I is not known to us. This interest rate we choose such that this present worth value becomes as 0. We choose that I value such that this present worth value becomes as 0. So for calculating this present value of I, at which this present worth value becomes 0, we put trial and error method these two values, I is equal to 10%, I is equal to 15%, and we find out this delta PW value for this 10% value and for 15% value, and that will appear as a 104, and for 15% again this value for 15%, now this value now becomes as a this is different one. It is not 104. That will be different one. So this becomes like this 266. This is not 104. It is 266. 197. Now by comparison of this, now we get two values of present worth value, two values of the incremental present worth, Now by interpolation formula we find out the interest rate I at which this incremental present worth value becomes as 0. And that interest rate I we calculated by interpolation formula as a 6.97. If we compare this interest rate I with MARR value as given as 15%, so this will be less. This interest rate, whatever that obtained here, that is less with the MRR compared with the MRR value. So when such condition appears, this B now, in this case B is eliminated. If in this case, if this I value or interest rate value appears as a larger than MRR value, then B should be presented. And A should be eliminated. But now here this I value is less than MRR value, so B is eliminated and A should be present. Now we move further. And we calculated the incremental value of present worth for C minus A. Incremental value for the C minus A. Now from the first incremental case, B is eliminated. Now A is present. Now we again consider the next consideration of C minus A. Now again you choose now from 3 projects. Now here from 4 projects we have considered like this. Now second incremental value C minus A. Again we calculate this present worth factor for the C minus A. Again for C minus A, this investment is now becomes a C minus A. This investment now becomes a this B minus A we calculated right now. This C minus A we should calculate. This is the investment for C minus A. Investment is a 7,200 minus 3,200. 7,200 minus 3,200. Again this is a revenue and expenses difference. Revenue is a 1,000 for C, 500 for the A. So 1,000 minus 500, 1,000 minus 500, and these factors are for the present worth factor for this particular terms. Again, I should not know to us, so we put 10% and 15% I value. Again by interpolation formula, we find out this interest rate I. Now this interest rate I appears as a 26.63, which is greater than MRR value. When this will be appear, then C will be present. And A should be eliminated. C is present, A should be eliminated. Now third case, now we consider D minus C. Third case D minus C we consider. D minus C. Now in both previous cases, B is eliminated. Now for checking of this A is also eliminated. Now third case, now remaining C. Now C is present here. Remaining here. So to check this C, we consider this incremental D minus C. So when we consider D minus C, again difference in investment of D minus C. D investment is 2,700 minus 3,200. So this will be appear here 2,700 minus 7,200, and this 475 minus C minus D. 27 and this 7,200 is difference between for investment, and for this revenue and the expenses consideration 475 minus 1,00,000, 475 minus 1,000. 475 minus 1000. So we get this formula. Again we put I is equal to 10%, I is equal to 15%, and find out this I value which is less than 15%. Now in this case D is eliminated. D is eliminated, C is present, C is remaining. So in all this incremental value, from this all incremental value, here B is eliminated. Now here A is eliminated. Now here C is eliminated, and remaining one is the D. So D project should be considered. D project should be considered. So this is the incremental consideration. This is the incremental consideration for the projects. Incremental consideration for the project, and from this we can decide. That this particular project is a suitable one, or this alternative is suitable one. So this is the incremental consideration. So second example. In the second example, we can consider again second example for this incremental type of this internal rate of return method. So here in second example they discuss about the three projects or three alternatives with some initial investment and the initial income, net income, annual net income. With these three projects, now this in this example the firm has identified three mutually exclusive investment alternatives. The expected annual income from the alternatives is shown in the table. Life of all three alternatives is estimated to be 8 years with zero market value. 8 year is lifespan is given here with zero market value. Salvage value is considered as 0. The MRR is 12%, and find the alternative that should be selected by using the following: IRR on incremental investment and present worth on incremental investment. So they consider that incremental investment or incremental case by using IRR method and present worth method. So we have to calculate here IRR by on the present worth method. So we consider B minus A, incremental of this present worth B minus A. So B minus A, 15,000 minus 12,000, 15,000 minus 12,000, 15,000 minus 12,000 plus this is a investment, this is a income, 4,000 minus 2,800, 4,000 minus 2,800. Again these factors are the present worth factors. With some interest rate I is not known in the internal rate of return method. I is not known. Lifespan is 8 year given. So this I you can calculate by consideration of, we put I is equal to 10%, 15%. By interpolation formula we consider I value at which this present worth becomes 0, and this IRR I value comes now 26.72%. So which is greater than MRR value. So A is eliminated here. So B is remaining, A is eliminated here. Again in second case we again try C minus B. Again this is the investment, C minus B, 18,000 minus 15,000, and this 18,000 minus 15,000, this is the revenue, or annual income, 4,500 minus 4,000, this is the factor, present worth factor. I is not known to us. Again we put I is equal to 10%, 15%, find out this present worth for the C minus B. Again we find this I value when this incremental present worth becomes 0. When this incremental present worth becomes 0, find out that I value 9.31, which is less than MRR value. So in this case C is eliminated, B is presented, B is remaining. So B should be selected. B project should be selected by using this IRR method. Again, second asking quantity by present worth method, incremental present worth method, they have to ask to calculate. So present worth B minus A. Again we put here B minus A as if B investment is 15,000 minus 12,000, and the income is 4,000 minus 2,800, with this factor, present worth factor, and we will get this rupees 2961.12 paise. Now here in this case which is greater than 0, so B is superior than A. Now again we find out C minus B. With C minus B, C is the investment is 18,000, B investment is 15,000. So 15,000 minus 15,000 plus income is 4,500 minus 4,000. 4,500 minus 4,000. This is the present worth factor. And after simplification, we will get 516.20, which is minus. It is a minus 516.20, which is a less than 0. So C is now eliminated, B is remaining. C is now eliminated, B is remaining. So by using this two incremental case, we eliminating the C and we eliminating here this, we eliminating C and eliminating A in this case. So B is remaining, and we can consider that B is a good project. B is a good project. That same obtained by this IRR method also. So these are the methods to compare these different alternatives or different projects.